Okay, let's unpack this. We're all familiar with the shift from owning things to subscribing to them when we talk about software.
Right.
You know, you pay for Netflix, Spotify, Adobe Creative Cloud. But now that relentless subscription model has jumped headfirst into physical, expensive hardware.
Things like cars, vacuum cleaners, connected fitness equipment.
Exactly.
And that's exactly where we're diving today. We've got a great stack of source material here examining how product firms can, successfully grow these hardware subscription businesses.
Because the core challenge here, it's fundamental, and it's why so many companies seem to stumble.
It is. Digital subscriptions, they work because of low marginal costs. You can scale instantly, focus on viral growth.
But physical hardware is the polar opposite.
Completely. Physical subscriptions come with, high capital intensity. You have to buy the asset first.
Right.
Then there's constant maintenance and what the sources call reverse logistics nightmares.
And the customer is just far less forgiving, aren't they? If my streaming app buffers for 10 seconds, it's annoying. But if the car I subscribe to breaks down...
That's a real, tangible problem. A big one.
So our mission today is to uncover the specific logic required to actually make this expensive, complicated pivot work.
Right. And the sources identify 3 distinct, really coherent growth strategies. We have service-centric, experience-centric, and platform-centric.
And they map out what you need to do across 4 phases of growth: experimentation, scaling, optimization, and then finally, maturity.
Now, we really have to emphasize that success is far from guaranteed. The sources point out that while companies like GoPro and Electrolux scaled their models, some big players who tried it.
Who are we talking about?
Well, Volvo, Porsche, Bosch, Miele, they often face real difficulty moving beyond just those early pilots.
Which proves you can't just slap a recurring fee onto a product and call it a day. It requires a distinct, really rigorous strategy and a total operational overhaul.
It really does.
That brings us right into the heart of it then. Why do those traditional digital strategies just crumble when they hit the physical world?
It all comes down to the cost structure.
Yeah.
A digital company's primary focus is often just acquiring the user.
And after that, the cost to serve them is minimal.
Practically nothing. But in the hardware world, you need entirely new operational muscles. We're talking about mastering the physical asset's entire life cycle.
Which means what exactly? Beyond just shipping it out.
Oh, way beyond.
Yeah.
It means distribution, yes, but more importantly, it means maintenance, refurbishment, and reverse logistics.
Let's drill into that last one. Reverse logistics sounds like a nightmare.
It can be. It's not just the customer mailing it back. It's cleaning the unit, inspecting every single component, maybe upgrading the software, recertifying it as like new, and then storing that valuable asset.
Until the next person signs up. That whole process sounds incredibly complex and capital intensive.
It is. And on top of that, the customer relationship is absolutely less tolerant.
Right. If I'm paying for a $3,000 subscription vacuum, I expect pristine, instant service. I'm paying to avoid the inconvenience of ownership.
You're paying for the outcome, not the object.
Exactly.
So success moves away from traditional product launch metrics. How many units did we sell?
And it shifts entirely to, relationship metrics.
Precisely. The growth drivers become maximizing customer retention, increasing usage intensity, and ultimately boosting monetization per user.
So we're talking about key metrics like churn rate, customer acquisition cost, or CAC2, an average revenue per user, ARPU. Those become the absolute center of the business.
The whole way they measure success has to shift. And it's a painful pivot for traditional manufacturers moving from, transaction economics to relationship economics.
And the sources found that to manage this, firms tend to coalesce around one of 3 coherent strategic paths.
That's right.
So let's jump into the first one. Strategy 1, the service-centric model. I like the name we gave it. The convenience model.
That's a perfect description. This strategy focuses squarely on delivering a guaranteed, hassle-free outcome.
Like having reliably clean floors or tools that just always work.
Exactly. You're minimizing any and all effort from the customer. Convenience and reliability are literally the products you're selling.
And the key example here is Electrolux. They started with a robotic vacuum cleaner pilot. What did they learn in that critical experimentation phase?
Well, first they learned what didn't work. They found that usage-based pricing and lengthy commitment contracts were poison for acquisition.
Customers hate that unpredictability.
They do. So they had to be agile. They immediately shifted to a flat monthly fee with generous, no-commitment trials. That clarity and flexibility improved both acquisition and retention pretty dramatically.
But the real operational mountain they had to climb was in the scaling phase, right? I mean, the capital costs are immense if you're just sending out brand new robots every time.
Exactly. This is where the service-centric model demands operational excellence. The crucial capability they built was a centralized refurbishment system.
Ugh, there's that reverse logistics piece again.
This allowed them to rapidly process and certify returned units, which drastically improved their asset utilization. Look, if you can only use a $1,000 robot once, the economics fail.
But if you can use it 5 times...
Now you've turned the corner toward profitability. That refurbishment capability is the secret key to making the circular economy actually a circular profit.
And as they hit the optimization phase...
They use data to drive down costs even further. Devices were fitted with sensors to track performance indicators, like battery health or filter status.
So they could see a problem before it even happened?
And execute proactive, predictive maintenance before a failure. That constant reliability cements customer trust and strengthens that core hassle-free promise.
A fascinating, purely functional model. Okay, now let's pivot to strategy 2. Experience-centric growth. We're calling this the lifestyle model.
And it is. This feels much less about utility and much more about an emotional relationship.
How?
It's entirely about emotional connection. This strategy uses the hardware not just as a tool, but as a gateway to an immersive brand experience. The customer subscribes to belong to a community, to achieve a transformation.
They're not just subscribing for the equipment itself.
Not at all, and the case study that defines this is, of course, Peloton.
So how did their experimentation phase reflect this emotional focus?
Their experimentation was fundamentally cross-functional from day one. It wasn't just hardware engineers in a silo. It was content creators, UX designers, all working together.
The innovation wasn't the stationary bike then. Those have existed forever.
Right. It was the live leaderboard. It introduced real-time competition, social motivation, the feeling of being in a massive shared class. They successfully positioned themselves as a lifestyle.
Then, during scaling, they had this huge logistical challenge. They had to ramp up 2 completely different things at the same time.
You're talking about the physical hardware manufacturing and distribution.
And the content library. Yoga, running, strength training, plus all the in-app community features like high fives and challenges.
Precisely. They focused on rapid content expansion and leveraging their engaged social media groups into sort of organic ambassador programs, reinforcing loyalty outside of the app.
What's really interesting is how they handled the maturity shift. Peloton didn't just stop at the bike.
No, they launched new hardware treadmills, rowers, and crucially, they integrated with wearables and third-party apps.
So they successfully evolved the product from a single machine into a daily lifestyle hub.
Exactly. Their competitive advantage doesn't really lie in the premium hardware, which others can and do copy.
It's in the whole community-driven fitness journey.
That motivating, continuous journey. They diversified their risk by expanding the experience way beyond just one piece of equipment.
Which brings us to our third strategy, platform-centric growth, or the ecosystem model. This sounds like the most capital-intensive, but maybe the most valuable in the long run.
It is the most complex, for sure. This strategy is all about creating an integrated ecosystem of products, services, and even partners, where the value increases as you layer in more components.
So customers benefit from the convenience and the interoperability of everything working together seamlessly.
Yes. And the case study here is Sixt++, the car subscription offering from the rental company, Sixt.
They had a huge built-in advantage, didn't they? They already owned the capital.
Oh, absolutely. In the experimentation phase, Sixt used its existing rental fleet to dramatically reduce its capital exposure for this new subscription service.
So they weren't buying a separate fleet just for subscribers.
So not at all. And crucially, they did something that sounds counterintuitive. They overbuilt the back end early on.
Overbuilt the back end? What does that actually mean? That sounds like a massive upfront investment.
It is, but it's foundational. Think of it like building with Lego bricks. They designed modular APIs and centralized user authentication. They were building a universal standard for future connectivity.
So that when the next service came along, say integrated parking payments or something, it could just snap seamlessly into the existing system.
Without having to rebuild everything from scratch every single time. And that foundational work allowed them to move very quickly into the scaling phase, where they integrated rentals, subscriptions, and car sharing into a single app.
And behind all that, they built a centralized inventory management system.
Yes, to dynamically allocate vehicles across all those business lines. This is the operational masterpiece of the platform model.
So a car isn't just sitting idle waiting for a subscription customer.
Never. It can be used for a short-term rental today, then immediately cycled into a 6+ subscription tomorrow.
The key optimization here is just pure asset orchestration. They're getting the maximum return out of every single vehicle they own.
Precisely. Value creation becomes about network effects and diversified revenue streams, subscription fees, rental payments, partner commissions, all running through one integrated platform.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, the synthesis. These three paths, service, experience, platform, they're not static endpoints.
Not at all. They're starting positions. And the most successful firms use them as a launchpad to evolve.
For example,
Well, the sources note that Peloton, while starting experience-centric, really needed to evolve toward a platform-centric model.
to do what? To diversify revenue away from just selling expensive bikes?
Exactly that. Hardware sales naturally slow down over time, so they needed to stabilize profitability through multimodality subscriptions and those external integrations we talked about.
And we see Electrolux, starting as pure service-centric, showing early signs of shifting too. Why would they do that?
Because a pure service model can feel a little transactional. I'm just paying for a clean floor. By moving toward a platform, they can increase their value proposition and capture more of the customer's wallet,
They start bundling services into packages like a healthy home subscription.
right? Integrating their vacuums with their air purifiers and other smart appliances. That evolution makes the entire ecosystem stickier and much harder for a customer to leave.
So if you're a product firm looking to launch or scale one of these, what's the practical roadmap? What's the common playbook for capability development, regardless of which of the three strategies you choose?
Success hinges on aligning that capability development with the four distinct phases. So, in the experimentation phase, the focus has to be on learning.
Running low-risk pilots, getting leadership sponsorship to predict the new idea from the old sales teams.
Correct. Then, scaling is all about building the infrastructure to handle volume.
Scalable CRM systems, standardized service logistics, that centralized refurbishment center.
You got it. Next, optimization demands a disciplined focus on efficiency and profitability. You introduce predictive maintenance and, crucially, you integrate subscription KPIs like gross margin per user into your daily business reviews.
You have to make sure the unit is actually financially viable.
Otherwise, what's the point? And finally, maturity means long-term thinking.
Focusing on long-term value.
Yes, this means using advanced predictive churn analytics to find at-risk customers, designing sophisticated bundled plans, and creating loyalty programs that manage and maximize customer lifetime value.
So what does this all mean for the modern manufacturer?
I think the bottom line is this. The success of hardware subscriptions demands disciplined execution across the back end. We're talking complex service workflows, robust data platforms, not just simple front-end innovation,
It requires a firm to behave less like a manufacturer focused on a one-time transaction.
and much more like a continuous service provider focused on the ongoing relationship, on reliability, and on that complex asset orchestration.
Okay, let's zoom out and look at the long game. If Samsung, a massive platform-centric giant, and Electrolux, a service-centric appliance maker, are both systematically moving toward integrating more services and products into these unified, interoperable ecosystems,
Which they are.
then the question isn't whether you'll own your next appliance or car. The real question for you to mull over is this. Which single digital ecosystem will eventually manage your entire physical world, and how much control will you relinquish to gain that ultimate convenience?
And that is a deep dive for another time.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of our Digital Civilization Exchange podcast. We hope the insights sparked new ideas, challenged assumptions, and brought clarity to the evolving world of service and digital-driven business models. This podcast is grounded in extensive research across various fields, drawing on years of academic work, case studies, and cutting-edge publications. It also shaped by hands-on experience of our collaboration partners, whose real-world challenges and successes help us to translate theory into practice. If you enjoyed the episode, consider following the podcast and sharing it with colleagues who are navigating the civilization journey. Your support helps us continuing bridging high-quality research-based and practice-proven perspectives straight to your ears. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the next episode.